Hey everybody, welcome back to Author Eke. Today we have Meredith R. Lyons, and she is going to talk about evident one book, but just in a snippet of a conversation, she has many.
No,
So
I have many copies of the one.
excellent, excellent. So Meredith, take it over.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, ma'am.
Ghost Tamer is my debut novel. It is about an aspiring comedian in Chicago. She is riding the L back from an open mic with her best friend, and the train flies off the rails, killing everyone except her. And now she can see ghosts. One of them says that he's kind of been with her all her life, trying to protect her, and another one is trying to destroy her and take her soul.
A
That
family book.
shell. Yeah. Super.
Excellent. Oh, the L. So I'm going to tell you I used to go to Chicago all the time for business.
Okay. I
So
lived there for
I'm going to
17 years.
tell you a train story.
I love it.
So we had the company I worked for. We had a rooftop at Wrigley.
Nice.
So I took a cab, right? And then I decided, well, when it's over, I'll just take the train back because I was staying down at the Marriott at the Magnificent Mile, I think it is, right? Miracle Mile or whatever. So I was staying there. I said, well, I'll just take the train. Now, I confess I had a few beers.
As you do
So
every day.
by the time I got off the train, I was like 5 stops to the south.
No.
So I walked back. And so I said, well, you know what? I'll break it up. So I'll just stop in every bar along the way and have a beer. So I
Well, that's
eventually
an
made it.
expensive walk.
Oh, not bad. Not everyone. I mean, like every couple blocks or whatever. But I made it back, no problem. But that's my train story
Oh my
in
gosh.
Chicago. So
I
tell us,
love it.
yeah. So what's the inspiration behind that? Is it are you fascinated by ghosts or something like that? Because that's a pretty cool concept. What you're talking about right there. That's kind of neat. To be honest with you.
Well, the actual inspiration was a nightmare that I had once. I was not living in Chicago at the time. I was living where I am in Nashville, but I had a dream that I was riding the L with a friend and
Oh, wow.
it flew off the rails and I
Yep.
woke up before we died, but which is nice.
That's
But
a
it
good
was one
thing.
of those dreams where it felt worse than it sounds when you tell it. Like you wake up and your heart's pounding and you're like really
Yeah.
relieved that you're alive. And I didn't
Lucid.
write at the time, so I was like, well, maybe I'll write this nightmare and it can be a short story. And so I start writing the nightmare and I write the scene and I'm like, well, I don't want her to die. How will I make her not die? And I was like, what about a ghost? And then
So she
97,000 words later, it's not a short story.
No, that's not a short story. That's a pretty good sized novel. That's a really good sized novel. So, what research did you do, or is this is all just out of your head?
A lot of it's out of my head. I like to tell people I'm very organized in my life. I like spreadsheets. I like to do lists. If I'm not 5 minutes early, I'm late. But when I write, I'm a chaos demon. There's no nothing. I know nothing. And I just like, it's like a roller coaster. But I do, as I'm writing, if I don't know something, I will look it up. So I did try to research some ghosts and other than like poltergeists, which in my world, all my ghosts have the ability to be poltergeists if they
Hmm.
want to, they just have to work
Hmm.
at it. But there's not really any like there's not a dictionary of these are the types of ghosts,
Right.
they're not
Yes.
like species of ghosts or anything. So I just kind of made my own world and my own parameters around that. I did do some like I made it so there's crystal usage and sage to kind of like get rid of them, which
Okay. Yeah.
apparently is the thing that people do. So I did do my research on like the meanings of certain crystals and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
amazing.
I knew Chicago pretty well after having lived there for 17 years. And I plunked it in the middle of a Chicago winter because it's the worst time to be alive
It
in
is
the
cold.
in Chicago. So I
It
was like,
is
I'll take it
bitter cold.
extra miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her being a comedian I was an actor when I was in Chicago, so they're really adjacent. I had friends who were comedians, so there wasn't a whole lot I had to do there, which is nice.
So, after the train wreck, did she keep her comedic?
So that is one reason I made her a comedian instead of just an actor was I delve a lot into grief and loss. in the book, and some of that can get pretty heavy. So there is banter throughout, and she is sarcastic, and she's not dealing with grief well, which was intentional on my part because grief is not always graceful,
Hmm.
and it's not always a beautiful tear.
Yep.
And she behaves badly, she grieves poorly, she's a messy person, and I wanted specifically to show that you can go through all these things and you can do everything incorrectly and be in pain and still be loved and still find your way back onto solid ground eventually and still have, a decent life. But yes, so there's a lot of humor in it intentionally, those darker parts.
Yeah, to lift up the book a little bit.
Hmm.
Does she build relationships with? Did she now before you said, Travis? I'm not going to because it's part of my book, so just tell me.
Yeah.
Before the crash, did she build any kind of relationships with anybody on the train, like the train mate next to her or whatever? And how did that kind of play in?
Well, it was the very first chapter is them on the train. I mean, it starts right away, of course. And she and her best friend, Joe, are talking, and he tells her he's about to propose to his girlfriend.
Oh,
And
wow,
so they have that interaction. They're really happy, and then the train flies off the rails.
wow, that's interesting. And then the rest of the book is about the ghost that
She's
she can see, or
Yeah, so the ghost that she can see, she starts seeing him, and she then discovers that she starts seeing other strange things that she's convincing herself like she was drunk or like whatever. And then she starts seeing this ghost, and realizes she's seeing other ghosts, and he's like, this is not good, because once you can see them, they're going to want to manipulate you so they can get the energies that they want. And then they start seeing this really violent one. They're like, we need to get rid of this. So she kind of reluctantly teams up with this protector ghost. She just wants to go back to normal. She wishes she could rewind to after the train crash, as we all
yeah,
often do
yeah,
after a tragedy. And so she
yeah.
is deny as much as she can until things literally start flying after her and hitting her and whatever. But
Oh,
yeah, so
wow.
she kind of has to forge a relationship with this protector ghost, and they both are trying to navigate, like figure out why this is happening, why this ghost is targeting her, and like how she can like get rid of it. They go to some ghost hunters, and they end up going to a psychic and things like that. But she hates
Right.
all of it.
Oh, wow. So is it going to be a series? Is she going to continue her involvement with this protector ghost, or what's
I can't say too much about that without giving
okay?
some things away, but I will say that I left the door open for a series, but it is right now it's a standalone. I started playing with a book two, and I didn't like where it was going, and I didn't there was one ghost who wouldn't tell me why he was there. So I'm working on a different book, right. I've got a different book coming out in April, and so I'm concentrating on that right now. If it ever comes to I don't want to like, just because this book is doing great, it's getting a lot of awards, and it was an editor's pick and all of that. And so I'm like, I don't want to like push out a second one if it's not gonna be good, you know?
That's successful. That's the hard thing. If you have a very successful book, you put out something later that's in the same series, or that's like, then you got the third one, even But I mean, a lot of writers do it that I've talked to. They'll write one and then they'll write something else. For example, like I was writing the third book in a series, 50,000 words in. That's a lot. That's
That's
a
a
long
lot.
ways. And then I had the idea for one of four, and I stopped writing. And I wrote one of four. I concentrated 100% of my time on writing that book because I felt I had to get it out. The story was so compelling for me to be able to write
I've
because I
had that
wanted to get
happen
it
before.
out. And that's what it should feel. When you write, like you said, you started a second book, you just didn't feel it. I've started how many number of books. I'm like, I just don't. I can't feel the story. I know
It'd
what
be
I
one
want to
thing if
say,
the
but I just don't
publisher
feel
was
it.
like asking for it, or if I was under contract for it, I would get it out. But, no one was looking for this book. I was just like, a lot of people seem to want a sequel, so maybe I'll try it. And then I was like, I don't want to do it just because, if it's, I don't want to force it out if there's no reason to force it out.
Exactly, exactly. So are you self-published or do you have a
No,
publisher?
I'm with a small press,
Okay.
Camcat, that is based out of Colorado. It is 2003 Forward Indies Publisher of the Year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're
Excellent.
doing,
Excellent.
yeah, and they
Are you going to Voucher.com or
I
Voucher.com?
am.
I don't can't pronounce. So
I'm going to
me
be at
too.
WatcherCon, yes,
Yeah.
and Killer
So I'm looking
Nashville
forward to it.
because they're both right here in Nashville this year. So why not do both?
There's a great hotel. I can't. We used to go there when I just work in Nashville. I used to go to Nashville for work, but it is not on Main Street. It's up by Ruth Chris, I think, and it's across the street. I can't remember the name, but it's a old hotel. Fantastic. I mean, the beds were just like, I want to take this thing home. And then I finally figured out you could buy them. You could buy the bed. You could buy the
Oh,
pillows. Yeah, they're heavenly beds. That's what they were. You buy the pillows and everything. Not the one from the hotel.
right, but they'll
That'd
give
be
you.
terrible.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah. You could buy them off the internet, but they weren't cheap. But it was nice. I can't think of the name. I'll think of probably later on, and I'll
yeah.
pop
Tonight
in
at
your head.
3 a.m. You'll remember.
Yeah, exactly. I'll wake up. So what? Your background is acting. So are you still doing that, or what are you
I
going to
have
do?
a rather eclectic background. I don't like to stick to anything for longer than a couple of years, but I did martial arts and theater when I was living in Chicago. I did both of them at a pretty decent level. I am no longer doing either. Martial arts, I got hit by a truck and separated my right shoulder, and
You
that
got
kind of,
hit by a truck,
yeah, I was
and
riding
that's
my,
it. That's it. Was a dislocated shoulder.
well, no, there was other injuries too,
That's a book. That's a book
but
in itself.
they luckily didn't T-bone me straight on. I was on my bike and they hit the back tire. And so I kind of smashed into
Oh,
the
you
truck
screwed.
and
Oh,
then
okay.
fell
Well,
in the
thank
gutter.
God you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, luckily he stopped. I got hit another time and they did not stop, but, he
On a
stopped.
bike?
Yeah.
Don't ride bikes.
I don't in Nashville, to be fair. It's actually even more dangerous in Nashville than in
Yeah,
Chicago.
don't do that.
But yeah, so but that pretty much stopped the competitive martial arts, and I was getting kind of old for it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then acting, I was doing for a while, and I had an agent and everything, and I just at one point just started feeling like it was taking more than it was giving, and so I took a break, and the break just kept getting extended, and then I moved to Nashville, and I talked to some people about the theater scene here because there is one, and and I got some information, made some contacts, and I just was like, you know what, I'm not feeling like hustling right now. And then the pandemic happened. I was kind of glad that I didn't hustle. And then I just really poured myself into writing, and I had started really taking writing seriously in about 2018. That's when as long as I'm doing something creative, I'm pretty
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
So my husband's back into the theater now. That's how we met. So he's doing
Well,
improv,
nice.
and he's inviting me. He's like, "Do you want to come to the improv?" And I'm like, "I am happy with my computer right now." I think when you try to do something artistic like that, it takes up all of your energy and concentration. So you have to really
Yep,
be passionate about it, or you
yep,
should just step aside.
yep. I actually have an IMDb page.
But so do I.
I
Somewhere.
was a was executive producer of a movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's my.
Anything?
That was a short. My nephew had a short, and I told him if he ever wanted to do it, I'd pay for it. And I never thought he would do it, and he did it, so I
Oh,
had to
good
pay
for
for it.
you both.
So yeah, it actually really a very good short. It was so professionally done. I mean, it's amazing. It's called Yield by Sean Davis. It's a fantastic little short. So yeah, that's my little. And when I look at it on my star rating, I am not the lowest in the world, which makes me happy because I don't do anything. I don't do any acting or nothing because that would not be good. That would be terrible. And then I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting the other day, Tuesday, and I presented, and I talked about my books and writing, and I talked about one of four, and the things. And one of the guy that runs a local workshop or where they do put plays on locally, right? And
Uh-huh.
he goes, man, you ever thought about doing this as a one man play? And I go, no, but I've been told it would be a great movie.
Yeah, I've been told that too. I have no desire to. They asked me if I wanted to do the narration on
Uh
any
huh.
of these, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
absolutely not, absolutely not. I think
Well,
it's different if you're doing memoir,
that's
then
right.
that's fine, or if you're
The kind of
super
thing.
famous. Like if you're Neil
Yeah.
Gaiman or something and everyone just wants to hear
Yeah.
you. But I'm like, I don't have a following. Give me a narrator with a following, you know?
I've
And
been doing this for
I
I've
feel
been doing
like
this for 2 years, and I still don't have a following.
But I feel like as an actor, for at least my opinion, is once you turn the piece over to the actor, that becomes theirs. It's their baby now. And they might catch something that you missed. So, you're when you write a book, you're like in it and you lose sight of the trees, or the
Yes.
forest,
Yeah. Oh
tree,
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like,
So the
take
key
it
is
and they will do it
it's
better.
if it's nonfiction, right? The writer, the author
Mhm.
can normally do the narration. If
Right.
it's fiction, you should have somebody. I interviewed a lady that owns a narration company, voice
Mhm.
acting. So I had an audio sorcerer, and I had her company do the narration for one of four, and the guy, fantastic. I mean, absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark because I couldn't do that. I just don't. That's not something I want
And
to
the
do or
time
could do.
commitment too. Like
Oh
you're going to
yeah,
launch a book and do the narration, like
and then
lock.
write another one, and then market the one that you're doing.
Right, exactly. It's just no, the
Yeah,
professionals can do that.
yeah, I agree 100%. So I'm really looking forward to the conference. I've never been to one. I've only started writing about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay, so you're going to be about your con also.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow, so it's going to be huge. Have you ever been to the Grand Ole
Nope.
Opry?
Well, no, but I saw it on TV as a
Opryland
kid.
Hotel, that's what
Oh,
it is.
no, I haven't been there. I haven't been there.
It is amazing inside, but it is.
I've been to the one in Dallas. There's one here in Dallas. It's
Was
huge.
there?
It's like it's a whole little city. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how the one in
yeah,
Nashville is too. So I'm like
yeah.
interested to see where we are. And I'm a moderator on a panel, and I was going to suggest we all meet up to like kind of be friends or something. But then I was like, where would we even meet? I don't have any idea where we're going to be.
Yep. Yeah,
It's just
I'm
going to
on
be
a
huge.
panel for inspiration. What you read as an inspiration as a kid, right? And I wrote them back. I'm saying I'm probably not the person that needs to be on this panel because I didn't read.
Wow.
I
So
had I had to go to a special reading class in the seventh grade, right? Because I wasn't reading that well, so I didn't
were
read.
you dyslexic or something? Did you find out?
Oh, I was just
You just weren't interested at the time?
I'm just a little boy that has attention shift, That,
Okay.
but now I'm a ferocious reader, but I said, you know what? But I can talk about I can talk about anything. Honestly, any subject I can probably talk about it. But so I'm like, they didn't send me back and kick me off the panel, so I guess I'm good to go. So we'll see.
They're fun. Those panels are always well
Oh yeah,
attended. I went to the one in San Diego last year. I was on a paranormal panel and I had a great time. This one I'm moderating, which I was like, I don't, okay. But I'm moderating the panel on writing fight scenes, which I'm excited about because that was my idea.
oh cool.
I didn't, I was like, I was kind of hoping to be on it, not moderate it, but I guess I'm in charge of everyone now.
Yeah,
So I will do a
crack the
good,
whip, crack the
yeah.
whip.
So, and apparently they're having prizes after the panels this time, which I don't remember from last time.
I don't know. I've never. The last conference I go to technology conferences. I've spoke at those all over the world, but that's been a while since I did that.
Well, these
But,
will
but
be,
I don't have a problem speaking in front of people. That's least of my worries. So your book, where can folks get your book at? I mean, where is it available?
it's available anywhere. Your bookstore can order it. It's distributed through IPG. It's on Amazon. It's on Bookshop. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's
Yep.
everywhere.
Excellent.
It's if you want a signed copy, you can order it from Parnassus Books and just put in the special instructions that you want it signed, and I'll go down there and sign it.
Excellent. Excellent. So when you write, how do you like to write? What's your routine for writing? Or is there a routine?
I chaos demon, so I have a treadmill desk. I have my regular desk that I'm sitting at now. I have two lap desks, one in my bedroom, one in the living room, and sometimes I sit outside on the front porch or the back porch. I don't sit still very well, so I sometimes I'll do an ambiance thing and light incense and candles, and then I'll usually do a selfie and post it on Instagram. But I basically have to plop down feel the wherever I feel the vibe at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if I'm having trouble, I will usually do the treadmill desk or the seated desk so I can throw a timer on and like make myself focus.
Do you have a limit? Like I want to do 1,000 words, or I want to write a chapter, or I want to write for an hour. Do you have some kind of guidelines that you kind of stick to or try to?
Only when I'm having difficulty. Most of the time, I'm like, right now, I've been in, like I said, I've got this book coming out in April. So I've been in edits and copy edits and proofreading and that kind of thing. So I've been wrapped up in those things. So I haven't been doing a lot of drafting. But when I'm having trouble with a book or having trouble in a stuck part, then I will do half an hour at minimum every day. Usually it ends up being more unless I wait till the end of the day. And then it's like, I got to get to bed.
Right.
But
I can't write it. I can't write in the evening. My mind is mush. I'm a more of a morning workout. Get that
yeah, I work out,
mental
go to work.
stuff. Yeah.
So I
Well, I
will
don't
keep
work anymore.
up
So
during work. And so if there's
yeah,
a lull, I'll like click over to that window and see if I can get
yeah,
something
work.
down. But
I don't really work anymore. I work for a school district. I do a bus monitor for special education bus.
oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, they're fantastic kids. I mean,
Yeah. I bet they say, I always wish people who interact with kids on a daily basis would just keep a notebook and write down the funny things they say.
oh, they'll say some stuff. They'll do some like they're fantastic kids. Fantastic kids. So your what's your husband think of your writing?
Well, he's a video game person. He doesn't read much, but he's always been very supportive of like anything that I wanted to do. So he's incredibly supportive of my writing. He's incredibly supportive of me traveling everywhere and going to all the things. If I do something in Nashville, he's there. It doesn't matter if he has to pay and buy a ticket or whatever, he'll come. He did end up reading this one like just in time
Oh,
for its
cool.
release. He enjoyed it. He's read drafts of some of my other stories. He was making the case that no, I'm not going to read this one. I want the experience. I'm gonna read it when I get my copy, and I'm gonna read it like a normal. And then my friend was like, "Don't do this for her debut. You're going to show up at her debut, and people are going to be asking, what'd you think of the book?' And you're going to sound like a jerk when you say you haven't read it." So wait to another book to experience it that way. Read her debut first, because I was like, I've got the final right here.
Yeah,
So
read it. My wife, one of four, is the first book she's ever written, read of mine.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and what you think?
Well, she doesn't. She's not a war book. It's not really. It's a book. It's a book about war. It's not really a war book. She loved it. She said it's the best book she's ever written, ever read. And that, I mean, she's critical. That's probably a good word. Yeah, she can be very critical. But yes, it's the best book she's ever read. Now I don't know if she'll read my thrillers. That's But as I hear, check it out, read it because it's very. It's an emotional book. Check, have her. She loved it. So far's read it. Has absolutely loved it.
That's
It's
always
just
nice.
yeah, it's getting the name out, right? That's the key. So what do you do from You said you're on Instagram. So what type of marketing? Even though you have a publisher, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to really sell the book, sell
Yeah.
yourself, sell your brand.
I have been lucky that my publisher has done some marketing. I did get a publicist for this as well, but I'm on social media. I don't know how much it moves the needle, but I do it. And I for a while I was really driving myself crazy trying to do all these trends and stuff like that. And I was really going for it leading up to the debut and the launch and everything. And I got an ulcer in December. So I'm pretty sure I've never had one before. So I'm pretty
Oh,
sure I
wow.
gave myself an ulcer just like stressing about this. And so I had to kind of find, because they're like, just take it easy. Like in addition to everything you've got to do to calm your stomach back down, eating is now stressful, and you think about that at least 3 times a day. But so I was like, okay, what can I cut from my life? I used to do a weekly blog. I dropped that down to bi-monthly or maybe even monthly. I still do my newsletter every month because that's not too much. That's once a month. And people don't really want to hear from you more than that, really.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped with the stressing over social media. So what I do now is I will promote, like I'll post if I book stuff, if there's some fun
Hmm.
book related stuff going on. Like my friend
Yeah.
had a launch last night, so I posted some cute pictures of us at her launch. I'll post a picture of my cats every now and then.
People like cats. I'll do my dog every once in a while.
But people like to see animals and whatever. And if I have like some good book news, like every award I won, I would post like picture me with the award and things like that. Or if I'm going to be at a book event, like I was at Columbus not too long ago, and they were like, please post about us. So I was like, here I'm going to be. And I would, I'm going to be on a panel with these people, and I would tag them and just things like that. And I try and promote other authors. I did a giveaway for a couple friends of mine. and I did an Instagram live with one of them and things like that. And I'm on Facebook and I'm on Threads. I'm on everything so that my
Right.
name, Meredith R.
Yep.
Lyons, is saved. But I'm most active on Instagram and it cross posts to Facebook and Threads. But yeah, so that's what I do. I just try not to like, when I post a new blog, I'll post the link and whatever. And if I have an opinion on something and I really need to get it out, I'll say something. But yeah, I can't allow it myself to go crazy over it anymore because again, I'm not sure how much social media moves the needle unless you're I think for self-published authors, maybe it's a bit different. And a friend who self-publishes and she has like a strategy and she like does her targeting ads in conjunction with her posts and all this stuff. And it's like we don't have control as a traditional publisher, we don't have control over when
Yep.
promotions go out and when
Yep.
like things go out. Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't. And I've had friends be like, "Hey, your book's on sale on Amazon." I'm like, "Oh, well, let me just tell people about that real quick." "Oh, it's only in sale in California." Okay.
Yeah, and Amazon will do that sometimes. Amazon took 7% off my book for I don't know what they just did it, so they'll do that. But then I self-publish, so I have control of my keywords.
Right.
I can change them whenever I want, and I have from the marketing. I do the podcast every week,
Right.
which gets you know I think I had in the last 28 days I had 1,600 views on the podcast, and then that's just the video. That's not counting just the audio port, the audio and video. I do both, and then I'll just random stuff on Instagram. I'll maybe go work out and say, hey, authors, go out and work out. Get in shape. Just don't sit there and hack away. You got to have your body and mind in shape and get those endorphins going and start feeling good about yourself and write a better product.
The thing about social media, unless you're doing those targeted like ad like things, like you said, is like you never really know what's going to hit.
Yep.
Really, like
Yep.
I tried TikTok for a while and I'm still on there and I enjoy looking at it, but I was trying to do all the TikTok things and then I posted a random picture of me crushing cans in my
They
in-laws'
got more
basement.
hits than anything.
6 million views. It went around the world twice. Like I was
Yep.
hearing
Yep.
from people from about recycling in Germany and I was like, well, this
That's
is
fun. My wife's German. That'd be fun.
a Kenta. But yes, this was apparently they don't crush cans over there
No,
and
they do not.
they don't
You have a
crush.
machine, you put them in. You put them in.
Yeah. So I was learning all about this and that was great, but I was like this doesn't help me as an author anywhere.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you just never
that's
know.
true. Yeah, you've got to put, and I finally, figured that out. And then I've, doing a lot of research. I'm saying, okay, I've got posts that'll go to 500 and stop. Well,
Mhm.
now I read why. There's gates that uh, TikTok will do on a video. Gates, like 500, 200, 700. There's gates and it'll stop the video from even,
Why?
yeah.
What is
It's just an algorithm. I don't know why. So, I do a lot. So that's interesting. But I do like Facebook. I've got a new marketing campaign out that I just started this week. That is, George Eliot said, you can't judge a book by its cover. And I said, one of four, you can judge the book because the story is just as beautiful as it.
Well, I think people do judge the book by their cover. Like,
Yeah,
let's
of
be
course.
completely honest.
Oh, I
Like,
draw people in
graphic
for it and they'll
cover,
ask about it.
people are not looking at your books. That's one reason I went with CamCat is I was looking at indie publishers and their covers are freaking gorgeous. And I love my cover so much.
Oh, yeah. Cover's big. I mean,
People will pick up a book because it's pretty.
yeah, yep, yep. And one of four draws them in because there's a focal point
Mm-hmm.
right above the soldier's head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the story behind it is after World War One, four unknown soldiers were exhumed out of the four cemeteries in France,
Okay.
October 1921. Out of those four, one was chosen to go to the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Oh,
This is his diary that was found next to him by a French girl who hides it in a Bible because of World War II that is found present day by a father and son who are visiting Paris, and they retrace the soldier's footsteps by his diary and brings them closer together as a father and son because they're estranged, and the bond will never be broke because they learned so much about each other by reliving the soldier's war. Yeah, very
that's
unique.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was interesting. It's a good book. I mean, I like it. I wrote it.
You have to be obsessed with your,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm actually trying to uh, set up some interviews to go to the 2 Million Unknown Soldier and interview some of the Sentinels because I'm going to do I'm doing a Veterans Day kind of special thing
Yeah, that seems
because of that.
appropriate.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been there before. I was in the Army. I spent 20 years in the Army. So hopefully they'll greenlight me. So who knows? But great. So show us the cover again.
Well, here it is. It's got the L train. It's got this
There you go.
little ghostly skull thing.
Nice. Oh, that's very cool. That's
Yeah.
almost subliminal. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
You know, once you see it,
You can't forget. You can't unsee it. That's right. That's what you want. And so you get it everywhere books are sold. Internet,
yeah, and the
Amazon.
paper book releases in September. So if you're
Okay.
more of a paperback person, you can pre-order that
Excellent.
now.
Excellent. Folks, go out there and pre-order. But I think by the time this podcast launches, it'll be already out. So go out and get it.
Yeah,
And
and
if
either version.
your bookstore doesn't have it, tell them to get it.
Absolutely, they can order it.
Yeah, exactly. You can go through Ingram Spark or whoever. Excellent. Well, Meredith, it's been a pleasure talking to you,
Thank you
and I
so much. I've had
wish
a
you
great
much success. Thank you. I wish you much success, and we'll see you in Nashville.
See you soon.
And I tell people I will be the one with the name tag that says Travis Davis. So
That's good. It's not confusing.
that's a giveaway.
Straightforward.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Bye bye.